Ecclesiastes, the last chapter, chapter 12, I believe it is, and then Luke chapter 17. Luke chapter 17 and Ecclesiastes, the last chapter, which I believe is chapter 12. Let me make sure. Yes, it is. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, last few verses, and then Luke chapter 17, verse 7 through 10. I was been reading through Luke here the last several days, and I came across this passage in Luke, and reminded me of some things. And you know, it's really kind of a strange thing that you might not expect to hear the Lord say. He says this: which of you, beginning in verse 7, which of you, having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, will say unto him by and by, when he is come from the field, go and sit down to meat, or go to sit down to supper? And will not rather say unto him, make ready, wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me, till I have eaten, drunken, and drunken, and afterward thou shalt eat and drink? Doth he thank that servant because he did the things that were commanded him? I trow not. I think not, in other words. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do. There's several things I can point out there, and hopefully the time goes on, I'll give you time to think about that. Listen back to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12, verse number 8. Vanity of vanity, saith the preacher, all is vanity. You remember that Solomon had tried everything there was to try, explored everything there was to explore. And at the end of the day, he had to come back and say, without life, without God, it's just empty. And so he said, because the preacher was wise,
yep.
He was still wise enough to understand it was good to teach people the statutes of the Lord. He said, because the preacher was wise, he taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth.
Amen.
The words of the wise are as goads, and are as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. I'll say amen to that. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. I pray you bless us tonight, Lord, and give us the wisdom and the words to say that will help our folks in these next few minutes. In Jesus' name, amen. Our text explains about a servant who comes in at night, and his master, he's evidently not worked near as hard as the servant has all day. The servant's been in the field. The servant's been out there maybe plowing or planting or reaping the harvest. You can imagine he's been at it. If it's according to regular Bible hours, he's been at it from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. He's had a 12-hour day. He's not all that, well, it doesn't smell too good, He's been working out in the hot sun and dirty perhaps, but he comes in from the work, and his master says to him, hey, clean yourself up now and fix my supper. He didn't say to the guy, you go clean yourself up and fix your supper and then I'll eat afterward. He said, you go clean yourself up and fix my supper, and then after I've done eating, you can eat. Now that would not sit well with many people today. That would not sit well at all. Most people would fly into a fit and a rage and say, that's not fair! The man goes out to work all day and the wife sits home and you think she's doing nothing, but really she's about to kill herself, washing clothes and keeping house. And back in the day, the man expected the food to be on the table right now. Walk in the door and want to eat right now. And he felt like he was the master of the house. He'd been out all day doing his duty, so he'd come home and they ought to have done their duty. And if he had any sense, he at least got up from the table and thanked his wife. But there's many men who get up from the table and don't even say hoot. They don't say it was good or it was bad. They don't even say, well, your cooking's improving. They don't say anything. The right, normal, natural thing to do is they say, thank you, honey, that was a delicious meal, whether it was or not. One thing you can say about most food is you can say, honey, that it was a nourishing meal. Thank you. But here he says, does the master say thank you to the servant? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He doesn't say thank you for what the guy's done for him all day. He said, well, that's kind of hard, isn't it? That's kind of mean, isn't it? Well, yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. But to remind you that what the Lord said is that, no, he didn't do it because the man only did that which was his duty. You know, if we start thinking, well, be careful here. Give people their dues when they do their duties, be thankful for them or whatever, that they've done their duty. But if we want to get accolades, if we want to get thank yous, then we need to do more. Jesus said, what do ye more than others? He said the Pharisees, they have feasts and they invite themselves back and forth to their families and they eat together. And he says, and they have their, have their little cliques and their little parties, but they recompense and they smack each other on the back and help each other out. But what do you more than others? And the guy was only doing what he was expected to do. Now, that may seem harsh to us, but it makes the point that we need to really consider. I told you a few days ago about a man that used to hand me my paycheck and say thank you, and it was kind of strange to me. John Sapp was his name. It was kind of strange to me. I had to get used to it. Because I felt like I was just doing my duty. I felt like I was just doing my job. After all, my daddy never said thank you. I mean, he never said, when we pulled into the house at home after about 7 o'clock at night, after working in the hay fields or out in the harvest fields all day long, my daddy never said, thank you, Rex, for going to work with me today. My daddy expected me to do my duty so I could eat. Amen. In fact, I said, I don't get paid for all this work. He said, you eat, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's really kind of funny, but that's the way it was. He never said, thank you. It was my duty. My duty to if I was going to be a part of that family, and I was going to eat, to sleep under his roof and lay under his covers, I was going to have to do my duty. Right. And days gone by, many people took great care to see to it that they did their duty. That they looked after their families, that they looked after their business, they looked after their friends. They had a duty to do. When we needed men to go to war, many hundreds and thousands of men stepped up and said, it's my duty to go to war. Amen. It's my job to protect my family, my homeland. If I don't fight them over there, I may have to fight them over here. Right. And many people have done their duty in serving their country because it was their duty to do. They felt it was incumbent upon them. But they just did what was expected. They did what they were supposed to do. Some people today don't want you to even think they should be, they don't even think they should be expected to feed themselves. They think somebody else ought to feed them all the time. They have no sense of honor, no sense of duty. There's many reasons why a child of God would want to keep God's commandments and do his duty. There's lots of reasons for that. And all of them which are very important. But I'm going to give you just a few things to think about and try not to be too long-winded tonight. But number one, we should do our duty because of gratefulness, out of gratefulness. After all, Jesus did die for us. And I'm very grateful for his death on the cross, aren't you? And gratefulness. We should serve him, we should do our duty because we love him. 1 Corinthians 5, 14 to 15 says, for the love of Christ constraineth us, because we love him. I'm compelled to do what I do for my family because I love them. I'm compelled to do what I do for the Lord because I love the Lord. I love the Lord because, David said, I love him because he's heard my prayer. He's helped me out. He's been there for me. There's a lot of reasons to love the Lord, but the number one reason to love him is that he saved your soul. And out of gratitude, we ought to be willing to do our duty. What do you mean by duty? That which is expected of us, that we're called upon to do, that which is placed in our hand to do, we are to do it. Whatsoever our hands find to do, we are to do it with all our might, whether we get thanked or not.
Right.
If you're just looking for a slap on the back, I'm sorry to say you're probably going to miss out on. You're going to be discouraged most of the time. Because of love. 1 John 4:10 says, herein is love, that we love God. Not that we love God, but that He loved us. He first loved us, and He sent His Son to be a propitiation for our sins. Why do we love God tonight? Because He gave His Son. His Son gave His life, sacrificed His blood, and shed His blood. We ought to love Him for what He's done.
Amen.
And then, of course, there's 1 John 5:3. For this is the love of God. This is the evidence of God's love, that we keep His commandments. One of the evidences that we love God is that we do what God says.
Amen.
If you love me, He said, keep my commandments. So the evidence of our love for God is our being obedient to God, and keeping His commandments, doing our duty. And we ought to keep the command. We ought to do our duty for the Lord because of the blessing it brings to our family. Listen to these verses. Deuteronomy 4:40. Thou shalt keep therefore His statutes and His commandments, which I command thee this day. Now look at this. That it may go well with thee. Well, that's a good reason. Amen. That sounds selfish, but it may sound a little selfish, but it's a very good reason. Yes, sir, read Bob. You keep the Lord's commandments. Why? So it'll go well with you. And with thy children. There you go. There's another thing. You want things to go good with your kids? You do good yourself. You keep God's commandments. You do your duty. It'll go well with you, and then it'll go well with your kids. Deuteronomy 5:9. Oh, that there was such a heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Where do we miss that at? Where have we not understood that? We want life to be good, and generally speaking, life is pretty good. It's a lot better than the alternative, which is dead.
Amen.
And you say, well, things can't go good all the time. Perhaps not. We all got to go through the valleys. We all got to go through the shadows. But if we want God to do good to us, then we do good for Him.
Amen.
And then it'll work out for your benefit, and it'll work out for the blessing of your children as well. Do our duty, so that we can enjoy the abundant Christian life that Jesus promised us that we could have. Do our duty, so that we might have a good report and hear Jesus say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You may not get patted on the back down here, but if you do what God commands you, when you get to glory, you'll get a pat on the back, a very big pat on the back indeed, I'd say. I'm sure everybody here tonight would like to hear the Lord say, well done.
Yes.
I know I have a friend over in Kennesaw, his name is Weldon. Well done. Well done, Weldon. I'm only going to laugh when I hear the Lord say that. And Weldon's going to laugh too. He's kind of a jokester. Okay, time out. You know what they did to Weldon one time on a trip to Florida? We went down to Florida back to the Wally Beebe's National Bus Conference. And some of the group that I was with, I wasn't in on it, thank God, I was with Jessica. Some of the group that was in that group of men took Weldon and tied him to the bed. And then went and got one of the ladies that worked there to come and open the door. She opened the door, and Weldon started screaming, and she just shut the door. Well, it was a bad joke on Weldon, I said. You wouldn't want me to do it to you, would you?
No.
We used to do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Time back in. Time back out. We had fun in those days. From the dunking tanks to being surfed and feathered, we had some fun in those days. But at the same time, we were fulfilling the Great Commission. We were going out into the highways and hedges, and we were compelling them to come in.
Amen.
Doing our duty as best we found out. And I'm saying this, I'm saying it this way. I believe you can serve God and enjoy it.
Amen.
I don't know if that servant enjoyed cooking before he got to eat, but I don't know about that. I mean, she probably got used to it after about 10 years. But I don't think God intends for us to be drab and dull and dead all the time.
No.
There's room for victory. There's room for celebration. There's room for happiness in the doing our duty for the Lord. I mean, it's not like I'm trying, I gotta go make the donuts. I gotta go make the donuts. Do you remember that commercial? Get up in the morning, gotta go make the donuts. You know, if you worked in a donut shop, you should get up in the morning and say, praise God, I'm going to eat some donuts. Like taking out the trash. You know, how many men take out the trash at your house? Not many. How many of you women take out the trash at your house? They outnumber us, men. I used to hate taking out the trash. I really did. When we first years of our marriage, I hated taking out the trash. But Jessica considered it my duty to take out the trash.
Amen.
As the years went by, I just accepted to do my duty. And I don't think I even complain about it anymore.
Well.
I didn't hear Jessica say amen there. But it's my duty. It's your duty. There's some things it's your duty to do. Listen to this, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Duty takes over when gratefulness wanes. Yeah. When you're not feeling so grateful, duty takes over. Duty takes over when love grows cold. Yeah. Duty takes over when love grows cold. Duty takes over when it seems that God has quit blessing. When it seems like nothing good's been coming your way, duty takes over. And you keep on doing your duty because you know down the road somewhere God's going to pay up. Duty takes over when joy is stolen away. And when peace is but a memory. And the power of God has faded away. Duty takes over. I don't know if you understand, not being a preacher, you wouldn't understand this, but he said be instant, in season, and out of season, reprove, rebuke, and exhort with all long-suffering and doctrine to his preachers. That's what he said to us to do. Mm-hmm. If you're a preacher, and you've pastored like I have for 40 years, and Bobby and him has, you understand what it is to be in season and then to be out of season. Right. In season means the sermons come fast and furious and it's fun and fiery. Out of season means you work and you labor and you think and you pray and you seek God's face and nothing comes easy. But what do you do when you're out of season? You got to keep on digging up taters. You got to keep on plowing. You got to keep on preaching. You got to wait and be assured that one day something will happen and you'll turn the corner and the house will be lit up with fire and you'll be on fire again and your life will change and you'll go back in and you'll say, praise God, I'm back in season. And I'm sure you've experienced that in your Christian life. You've probably experienced it when, like on Sunday morning, you got up and said, church today, good. And you also got up on Sunday morning and said, oh, church today. Church today. You're like that preacher who said to his mom, I ain't going down there today. I ain't going to church today. No, I'm not going. She said, you got to, son. You're the preacher. You're the pastor. I don't know that I've ever had but 1 or 2 days like that in 40 years. It hasn't been many if it's been very many. There's been times when I was so tired I didn't want to go to church. Mm-hmm. There's been some times when I was only once or twice in my life I've been so tired that I didn't go to church. But always when I find myself at church, within 5 minutes after church service and singing these songs, I get fired up again, and then I die after church. There's something exhilarating and rewarding about having done your duty.
Amen.
Having done what you're supposed to do. What you're expected to do. Duty takes over when the rewards seem very far away. You know, If you go to Wendy's, you work today and get paid tomorrow. Do you know that? They put up a sign. They need help so bad they say, work today, get paid tomorrow. Well, that's pretty quick payday, isn't it? Whatever happens to this, work 2 weeks and then maybe you'll get paid. A month. Work today, get paid tomorrow. Instant gratification. That's what everybody wants these days. You don't believe it? Just go to McDonald's with me. Time out. 3 times, not one, not two, not two, but 3 times the other day, I told this girl what I wanted, and she came up with it wrong every time. I'm patient. Time back in. But if you and I will keep on serving God out of a sense of duty, if you can do that, then you're on your way to becoming a good Christian.
Amen.
Yes, sir. If you're not driven by emotions, you're not driven by circumstances, if you just do your duty because that's what you're expected to do, then you're on your way to becoming a good Christian. Here, 3 or 4 things and I'm done. Do your duty even when you're tired and wish you could rest. That's the first point from the message from Luke. Do your duty when you're tired and wish you could rest. Number 2, do your duty to the satisfaction of your master and not to please yourself.
Right.
You know, let's say you were going to wash my car. Who's going to do this next? Who's going to wash my car? Jessica is, she said. You're not a good example because you're a clean freak. But if I brought my car into your car wash and I said, now I want you to wash my car and be sure you get all the bugs off the dash, off the front of the car. And you brought the car around there and said, here you go, Mr. McPherson, here's your car. And I walk around the car and you got the shine on the tires and you got the little mats are out there, you know, where you step on and wipe off your feet before you get inside, you know. You walk around the front of the car and you're looking at it, there's bugs. You've been to Florida during love bug season. You know what that is?
Yes.
They're everywhere, man. They're thick as flies. They're like locusts. And you say, the bugs are not off. You didn't get all these bugs off. That's good enough for me. So the attendant said, well, that's good enough for me. It looks good to me. Well, what about that mess of bugs there? You never even tried to wipe them off my headlights there. Well, you can still see through that. That'd be all right. I mean, it's hard to know how to deal with people who have a different level of
Comprehension.
acceptability, you know. But, you know, there's people today that they just do a halfway job. And they expect, because they think it's good enough for them, it ought to be good enough for you.
Yep.
I would remind us tonight that God has the highest standard that there is.
Amen.
He has the highest standard that there is. Now, Jessica, she cleans everything 3 times. And it's always spotless when she gets done. I never go look at the car and inspect it when she comes home from the car wash. No use in it. I know it's clean. It's beyond my expectations. She went to the car wash with me yesterday. I didn't go to the one where you get out and do all the cleaning yourself. I went to the one where you go through there and you pay somebody else to do the cleaning. On the way to church tonight, the windshield was smeared. So she reaches in her glove box, she pulls out her little paddle, that little fleecy thing on it. She goes to wiping that windshield on the inside. It's good enough for me. But then again, she has higher expectations than I do of that sort of thing. And if I'm the servant, then I'm to try to meet my master's expectations and not my own. Quickly, one or two more we've done. Do your duty for the glory of God and not for the praise of men.
Amen.
Now, everybody has a little bit of vanity. You comb your hair, don't you? You do brush your teeth, you put on your clean clothes. You have a little bit of vanity. And that's a good thing. A little bit of vanity is a good thing. But the bad thing is to vainly seek after glory that you don't deserve. And then do your duty and remain humble. What did Jesus say in this text? He said, when you have done your duty, just say, well, I've done what I was told to do. And I'm really still an unprofitable servant. I could have done better. That's the way I feel most of the time.
Yeah.
When I do what I've been supposed to do, I come away thinking, I wish I had done better. And if you ever get to a place where you think you've done as good as you can do and you're not going to ever do any better, and you have no desire to do better, then you're heading down the wrong slippery road there. Oh, that people would answer the call of duty. Respond to God's claim upon their life. Do what God has commanded them to do. Solomon said this, let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God. Keep His commandments. For this is the whole duty of man.
Okay.
Just do what you're supposed to do and everything will be right.
Amen.
That's hard to remember sometimes, but we need to be reminded of it. Let's just do our duty. Father, in Jesus' name, help us all to do our duty. That which we are expected to do, that which we're commanded to do, that which we are called upon to do, that, Lord, which is placed upon us that we weren't even positioned to do, or prepared to do. But yet, Lord, if it's in your will for our lives, and Lord, help us to accept it joyfully. And at the end, Lord, we will look forward to hearing you say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Bless the workers of this church tonight. I'm determined to pray more for them than ever. All that they do, I thank you for. In Jesus' name, amen. Can I say this before I quit? I want to say it while I forgot. One thing I got from listening to the church service on radio the other morning was this. One thing. When the choir sang, they were in perfect unison.
Yeah.
When they came, there was such a harmony there. It wasn't like somebody was coming in early or somebody was coming in late. Everybody was on sharp edges and they come in just sharply. And I never noticed that so much before in the service here. It came through on the internet the other day how well y'all do, the choir does, in singing together.
Yeah.
And harmonizing together. And that's the way the whole church is supposed to be, in harmony together.
Yeah.
Striking the same note, Bill.
Cindy has 3 rules. Watch me, watch me, watch me.
I know. He said, even if the house is on fire, you'll watch me. I heard her say that one time. That's how you do it. And what would you do? You'd watch him. Keep it on him. Yes, yes.
I was going to say that it was a blessing to me the other Sunday night when I was looking at the people in our choir. They're not just people that sing in the choir. The people that sing in our choir have many other jobs in our church. And I'm thankful that it's our workers that are also singing. They're not just choir members. They're faithful throughout the church
Sure.
to do other jobs. And I appreciate that about them.
Singing in the choir is just a bonus for getting to doing all the other stuff you do.
Amen.
Well, I got half a minute. When I was in Shiloh years ago, we got up in the morning, went and rode the bus route. It took about an hour and a half to run the bus route. We taught Sunday school. We taught children's church, I did. Then on Sunday night, we'd go practice at the choir, sing in the choir on Sunday night. On Wednesday nights, we'd have youth meetings. There was never a day, hardly a day, that I wasn't doing something for the Lord. And you know, look back on those days, there were days of training, there were days of happy times, there were days of good things, but they prepared us for the days ahead. And what can I say? I liked it. I wanted some more of it. So I quit my job, went full-time work for the church. You know what they paid me? $100 a week. Full-time work for the church, $100 a week. He said, how do you afford that? Well, Jessica had a good job. Good night.